of ups and downs. We had the first couple of months, investors who were in didn't come up with the money. It left us in a terrible financial position. We started from flat. We had no subscribers. The first 5 months there wasn't any subscription. The subscription model didn't come into place till January in 2012, and it was tough. But we opened up with a fight, Liam Walsh and Paul Appleby, which incidentally was voted as Fight of the Year by the British Boxing Board of Control. So we didn't start off bad, and we've carried on that way. We've had some great fights over the years. Believe it or not, we've done 20,448 hours of live boxing programming. That's huge. 776 hours of live boxing, nearly 200 live shows from 23 different countries, done 158 World Championships, 52 British and Commonwealth titles, and 26 Europeans. And for boxing fans, they would never ever have seen that. They would never have got that. They would have got a very small percentage of it. And it came about basically because of an argument that I had with Barney Francis, the head of Sky Sport. Back in 2011, after the David Hayes 2 fights, one against Ordinary Harrison and the other one against Klitschko, they decided they were out of the pay-per-view business. And for me, I couldn't see how boxing could survive without the revenue generated from pay-per-view. There were 4 promoters back then. There was Frank Maloney, Ricky Hatton, myself, and Matchroom. Each had 8 shows, and we did a few pay-per-views. But once he decided to do that, I knew it was a death knell for at that time for boxing. So I thought to myself, well, why are we, building boxing up for Sky and giving it to them for nothing, because they were reducing the rights fees. When I consider in 1995 I signed a £22 million deal to take boxing from ITV to Sky, they were talking less than, less than, I think it was about 10% of that. So it's ridiculous monies for us, it just didn't work. So we decided to do our own thing, got a few people together, and as I said, a couple of them let us down. But we persevered, we got our heads down, and it was a hard journey. There were some great fights on, and there were some terrible moments. There were moments where, you've got, I don't know, 100 quid in the kitty, and you've got to pay out 200, and you've got to decide who you're going to pay. And a few people got paid late, but the bottom line is they all got paid. Everybody got paid their money, and as we were determined to make sure it happened. It was better to get paid than maybe be a Woolworths or a RBS and go into a situation where the creditors get knocked. But we paid everybody. So it was a tough time. Only because of Boxnation, Sky changed their whole concept of what they was doing. BT came about. Our CEO at the time was Simon Green, who was headhunted by BT, became their head of sport. Suddenly BT were back in the boxing game. They lost some football, and suddenly we got a market. So we created a market which was great for the fighters, it was great for the fans, and obviously great for the sport. We worked very hard, as I say, to ensure that we kept there with them. It's ridiculous for us to say we're competitors of Sky. They're a huge business. They've got 10 million subscribers. We were the new kids on the block that started from nothing. But we got a subscription base of 350,000 people who used the channel in various forms over the last few years. So we've done very well from that point of view. The next few years are going to be even more exciting with our expansion. We now have an HD channel. We have a pay-per-view capability. And we're continually delivering the best fights. The most highest paid sportsman in the world is, on the Forbes list, is Floyd Mayweather, and his last 5 fights have been on our channel. And that says a lot about our channel, and mainly where he's earned his money from. We've got a fabulous staff, who really, they're like a, I don't know if it's a bit corny saying this, but it is a bit like a family. We've all worked very hard together. You know, our former chairman, Richard Brooks, done a great job getting us to where he got to up until he left. Simon done a fabulous job. Jim McMahon, managing director, has done a great job. My son George has done a fantastic job as commercial director. He's the managing director of Queensbury Sport. He's Queensbury Promotions. He buys most of the overseas fights and does a great job doing that. Alison Chapman, finance director, and also finance director of Raynham Steel. Christopher Turner, company secretary. Jim Bentley, Nick LePayne, Hugh Jenkins, all fabulous guys, all done, you know, been there from the beginning and really worked hard at it. Tess Goldberg, Dev, Connor Lang, all done fabulous jobs in what they do with the marketing and so forth. They really, really work hard, and I know they're very devoted and very loyal to the channel. Everybody at Queensbury Promotions, you know, there's a big list of them: Ben, Andy, Richard, Emma, Ria, Bianca, Jason, the late Dean Powell, and Alan, all great what they've done and how they've stood in there. You know, at times, the early days, the wages were in the post, and they waited for them, and eventually we got there, but that's where we were. We've never ducked that issue. We've always stood up and said, this is how it is, people will get paid, and we worked our way through that. People like Mike Goodall and Ian from Man Security have been fabulous supporters and really helped us, and you know, we understand the pressures we put their business under, but they were there and they've done, you know, done fabulous for us, and we appreciate that. Steve Lillis, he's half the man he was. You look at him now. He's half the man. Steve Lillis, that's what happens when you get paid late. Steve's been, I think he's become a really good commentator on the sport. He's obviously very knowledgeable in boxing. I think he's done a great job. Buncey's been brilliant. We've got Coogan and this fella who's got his camera stuck up my nose at the moment, Mr. Helder. They're on board now. They're doing a great job. You know, all these guys, where is he? John Robbins, who I think is the best commentator in the business, wherever he is. He's just over there. They've all been fabulous. They've all stuck with us, and it's been a pleasure working with them. It's been a pleasure having the headaches with them, and you know, it's been a hard journey, but we are where we are now, and we're just going from strength to strength. Now, when you talk about it, over 20,000 hours of boxing programming. There isn't. I can't think of anybody who's in any sport that's done that. That's, you know, it's a fabulous amount of. Well, it's a lot of hours, and it's a credit to everybody. That's what we've done. I'd like to say a massive big thank you, and he's become a really good friend in Bill Ives from Raynham Steel. I mean, he's a big shareholder, he's a big investor, he's been a white knight, and he's you know, he's a believer, and the fact that he's a massive boxing fan is a bonus. But you know, between us, we've kept the faith, we kept working hard at it, and we're determined that we were, as I say, we will go from strength to strength. We've got some fabulous shows coming up over the next quarter. 4th of October, we've got the IBF Super Featherweight Championship. On the 11th, we've got the IBF Light Middleweight title. 25th, we've got our own Paul Butler, looking for a record to become the first Englishman since Bob Fitzsimmons to go down a weight and win a world title. He's actually the first fastest Englishman to ever win a world title. He's fighting Zolani Tele. That's a great fight at the Echo Arena in Liverpool. 1st of November, we got the bantamweight title from the BO title coming over from the States. We got Bernard Hopkins against Kovalev, who knocked out Nathan Cleverly. I mean, that's a cracking fight. It's an intriguing fight. You know, this is real quality. 22nd of November, Manny Pacquiao against Algieri. He's on the channel. You know, you look at these fighters, and you know the type of quality we deliver. 29th, we've got Derek Chisora and Tyson Fury. At last, they'll get it on. Great undercard, and hopefully we're going to announce. I'm hoping we're going to announce another big fight to go on that undercard. But we've got Frankie Gavin fighting Bradley Skeet on there. We've got Liam Walsh against Gary Sykes, and there's a few other title fights on there which are fabulous. If you look at the fighters that we have on in BoxRec, the top 10 fighters in the world 8 of them fight regularly. They're top 10 rated fighters. 8 of them fight regularly on Boxnation, and that says a lot about us. And people think that, you look and see where we are over the last few years. People talk about Matchroom and Sky and what's gone on with us, and they forget where we are and what we've evolved to. My focus has been for the last 2.5 years on building a TV channel. Of course we're promoters, but we built a TV channel. We built a very successful TV channel. That is what I think goes under the radar. Everybody says, oh, hang on a minute, this guy's gone off and so forth. That has been our focus. So we are where we are now, 3 years down the road. Our first world title fight was Bellew against Nathan Cleverly. Great fight, which got really slagged off by everybody. Not you guys, I'm talking about our opposition. It was only a Commonwealth title fight. They've both been knocked out since. And what's happening on the 22nd of November? The two guys are fighting for a title. Well, sorry, not fighting for a title. They're fighting again. But we delivered that 3 years ago there. Been there, done it. That's what we're about. We're about bringing the best. We're about, as a channel, this is a channel, it's Boxnation. This is us, this is what we do. We bring to the British fans the fights they would never, ever get to see. How many of these names that I mentioned would be carried on Sky, or for that matter, any other channel? The answer is probably 90% of them wouldn't be. So if you're a boxing fan, you are in boxing heaven watching Boxnation. 12 quid a month, it's less than 12 quid a month is cheaper than buying 4 editions of the month for boxing news. Boxing news. Think about that. It's cheaper to watch Boxnation than it is to buy boxing news. And we've got some great archive material coming up on there. We've got some really good chat shows. They're informative. Boxing Matters, Bunsey Show. What's your name again? Cassius and
Thanks, Frank.
it's like Forgettable Faces and Helder. I think they do a great job for the sport. And I remember the early days with these two guys when they started off, and I said to them, good luck to you, it's tough. And they've done well. They're in there, they're at all the press conferences doing what they've got to do, and it's been good, certainly been good for boxing, and I'm glad they're on board with us, helping us to promote boxing. Future is I think is very bright for us. We've got a lot of things happening. We're going to make some serious announcements before Christmas. We're in negotiations with a few big companies. We're in negotiations with a couple of people who will come on board, and I hope strengthen our board, who I think will make a big difference to where we go and what we're doing. So I'd just like to say to all you guys and lessons, thank you for all your magnificent support. Thank you for being here today. And I just hope that you see what we've been trying to do. This has been a 3-year journey up to us yet, and we have delivered big time to the British boxing fans. We have delivered the best in boxing, and we will continue to do so. Thank you. Enjoy your afternoon.